Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Tasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you don't know what it is that I do here. I am a relationship coach specifically for women who want to heal and reconcile after infidelity. You have been cheated on. Crazy to think that you could ever forgive that. Crazy to think that you could ever have a relationship beyond that. But guess what? You're not the only person who's ever tried, and plenty of people succeed at having a healthy, happy, trusting relationship after infidelity. I am here to teach you what I know about doing it because I am one of those people. I am 18 years past the last infidelity with my husband, and it is a happy, beautiful life. My son is getting ready to graduate tomorrow. That's why I'm so late. I am running around crazy trying to make sure I got everything for his graduation tomorrow. So excited, and never at that time could I have imagined this time. At that time, the way it was then, I couldn't have imagined that it would be good like this. I couldn't have imagined that it would be a happy relationship after all the turmoil that we went through, but it did get there, and I know how to do it. I want to lead you out of the woods just like I had to stumble my way out of the woods, okay? I don't want you to have to struggle with it like I did. So I want to give you all the information you need to be able to get out of these dark, dark woods and get to that happier, better time with your family, with the person that you love, all right? So if you've never been with me before, I always teach you about the fact that this is a trauma. You've been through a trauma when you are dealing with somebody who loves you and you love them and they betray you in some way. That is traumatic. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is a traumatic thing to have happen to you. So what we need to do is start treating it like a trauma. And the very first thing that we can do to start to treat it like a trauma is to do our deep breathing. Have you been doing your deep breathing? I need you to do that. Can you please just for the next week take me at my word and believe when I say that doing your deep breathing is going to help you? That's all I want you to do, okay? Just do your deep breathing consistently. 5 times a day, okay? That's all I need you to do. If you can do that, you are going to start to feel a little bit better. You are going to start getting back control over your body, because when you are going through a trauma, you are going through a physical thing happening in your body. So if you are able to do a physical thing that is the opposite of that reaction, you can start to control that reaction, okay? So we are going to do our deep breathing together. Come join me for your deep breathing exercise. We do 4-7-8 breathing. What you're going to do is blow out, and then you're going to inhale for a count of 4, hold that breath for a count of 7, and then we're going to blow out again for a count of 8. When you are blowing, I want you to make the noise of blowing. Make that noise, purse your lips, make that sound, because it creates a trigger in your brain. We've got bad triggers from this infidelity. We've got bad triggers from feeling badly from this trauma. But you can create good triggers by showing your body a thing and having a sight or sound or smell that associated with that thing. So every time you have that sound of whooshing air, the smell of lavender, your body knows what to do, okay? Hi, there's Sean Ducky. WTU. I don't even know what that means, but hi, how are you doing? All right, so we're going to do our deep breathing together. Join me. Just come along. We're going to do it 3 times together just for the sake of time, okay? First things first, you're going to blow out. Try and deflate your lungs. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How do you feel when you do your deep breathing? Put it in the comments. This is a physical thing that we are doing to help a physical reaction. So there should be something physical that happens to you when you do your deep breathing. Put it in the comments. Let other people know that it does work. You do feel differently inside your body when you do your deep breathing, okay? Second thing I'm always going to tell you about every time we get together is I want you to start doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? I need you to jump on that, okay? I need you to grab yourself a journal. Hi, okay, I see you over there. Alton, I see you. Joshua, I see you. Hello over there on YouTube. I see all of you. Let me see, make sure I am on YouTube on my Love Coach Dasha channel. I am on Facebook, my Love After Cheating group, and I am in my Love Coach Dasha Facebook page. So if you want to catch me, I'm all of those places, okay? All right, don't see any questions, comments. And if you do have any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, anything about how to heal and reconcile after infidelity, guess what? I got answers. So go ahead and put them in the comments. Joshua, thank you, sweetie. My voice is very nice. Thanks. Appreciate it. You have a good day too. All right. So the next thing that I'm always going to tell you about is doing your journaling. I need you to do this, okay? If this is a trauma, doing your journaling is like doing your homework for the trauma. Your traumas want to repeat the same things over and over and over again in your head, right? It keeps me in the same thought. It keeps me in the same fear that keeps repeating itself. Write it down. Put it in your journal. Write your date, your time, and your level of anxiety every time you write. Level of anxiety before and after you write, okay? Level of anxiety means 0 to 10 scale. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. You are having a great day. All is right with the world. Put that down. You don't want to forget those days because the trauma's effect on your brain will try and tell you that everything is always awful and you never have good days. So if you have written it down in the book, you can prove that your brain is lying to you, and it will often lie to you while you are dealing with the trauma, okay? So before and after, if you do it before and you're like a 7 and then you write for about 5 minutes, you can easily come down to a 6 or a 5 just with that like 5 minutes of writing in your journal, getting the stuff out of your head and down on a paper, okay? It helps tremendously. Just try it, okay? I understand that these things that I'm saying are simple, but this is what all of my clients start off with. Everything that I am telling you is what I am going to tell my paid clients, the people that work with me on a regular basis. I'm constantly telling them this. Do your journaling. What's going on with your journal? Hey, have you been doing your deep breathing? Do your deep breathing, okay? I'm constantly saying these things because they work. I did it myself. I am an example. I did go through this myself. I know that it does work. If you do it consistently, you will start to make changes in your physiology that will help you to heal the rest of the way, okay? So date, time, so you know when things happen, and then level of anxiety before and after you journal. Just 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes before you go to bed. You don't have to write a novel. That is unnecessary. Write down what comes to the top of your brain. Whatever bubbles up to the surface, write that down. If it's something that keeps repeating, okay, good. You got clues that something else is going on in there, and that's something that you maybe need to examine. Maybe that's something that you can sleep on for a little bit and see if you know more about it in the morning. But you are writing it down, getting out of your head, and telling your brain, hey, I'm listening. Can't deal with it all right now, but I am listening. I put it down in the special book. It will be in the special book. We can discuss it later, okay? So have you been doing your journaling? Put it in the comments if you journal. It is very, very helpful. You will find the patterns. You will find where the triggers lie if you do your journaling, okay? Third thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together is I need you to develop an attitude of gratitude. I want you to be constantly looking for things to be grateful for. Just the little things. I am grateful for the color red. I am grateful for my little window seat. I am grateful for the internet. I am grateful Haven't bitten my nails today. I am grateful that I finally got back here after doing all the work to get my son's graduation going. All right. 5 things. That's all it takes. 5 things. First thing in the morning, write it down in your journal. Put it down, and then your brain does what you teach it to do. Okay. If you're teaching it to be afraid and continuously harping on the fear and the anxiety and the pain of this trauma, it will continue to do that for you. Okay. It will focus on what you think is important, what you repeat to it, what you are consistent about. But if you are consistent with, look, I want to see beauty in this world. I want to see the things that make me happy to be existing on this planet. Okay. That is what you want your brain to be looking for. That's what you want to train it to do after a trauma. So first thing in the morning, before you really do anything else, 5 things that you are super grateful for, put them down in your journal. You will come back a month of this, okay? Putting down like 5 little things first thing in the morning for an entire month. You will have a couple pages filled up with wonderful things, with things that your brain can't argue with you about. Yeah, bad things happen, but the color red is in existence, and I am so, so grateful that it exists in my life. All right. All sorts of good things will be right at your fingertips for you to calm yourself, to regulate, to stop thinking the terrible thought. Okay. All right. Last thing we're going to talk about before I get on to the lesson is, seriously, let me hold your hand when we say this. Okay. Baby, stop asking him all those damn questions. Okay. I know. Just hold tight for me. Just be with me for a moment. You keep asking him all those questions. And I'm telling you that this is a trauma. That is a trauma response. You asking him all these questions about the affair and what was he thinking and what was he doing and where did you go and what positions were you in? That is a trauma response. Your brain wants to try and gather as much information about what it considers a threat. And then if you ever get close to that threat, it throws those facts at your head. Okay. That is what it's doing. It's not trying to help you heal. I know your brain will tell you that it's trying to help you heal. I know it will. It is lying to you. Okay. It is lying. Do not believe it. When it is trying to gather up all that information, it is gathering ammunition. It is not gathering help for you. It is not gathering solace and peace for you. It is not doing that. It is gathering all the information that it can about that threat to try to keep you away from that threat. That's why when you try and get closer, all of a sudden all these terrible thoughts come, because you've asked all these questions and you've gotten all these answers that just make you feel anxious. And so then when you are at the point where you're like, I want to bridge that gap, I want to get closer again, your brain is like, no, remember what he said. Remember this question that you asked, and then remember what he said about it. You don't want to get closer to that. All right. It's not trying to help you heal. That is not what that part of our brain is designed to do at all. It is trying to help you mitigate the effects of a threat upon you. It does not want you to heal, because healing involves like letting some of that go. Healing involves actually moving forward past this. But that's not what it's trying to do. It wants to keep bringing you back to that pain. It wants to keep reminding you of it to make sure that you never make the same mistakes again, even though this wasn't your mistake. Okay? So stop asking the questions. Just cold turkey, no more questions. Try it for a week. See how difficult it is not to ask a question for a week. Because it is a trauma response, your brain has decided that this is a way to keep yourself safe. And so it yearns for a question. It is dying to ask a question. And any question will eventually lead to questions about the affair. Okay? I promise you, how was your day will lead to the questions about, well, where did you have sex with her? Okay? It will do that without you even knowing how it did that. It will do that because it's a trauma response. It latches onto any question, and then it just follows that track and starts asking more deeper, in-depth questions and more sensitive questions, to the point where you start talking about the affair again, even though that is not very good for you and not very good for your healing. Okay? So I know your brain is telling you that you should be able to ask all the questions. And I know a lot of the gurus will tell you, you should be able to ask whatever questions you want. He should just give you all the answers you want. I am saying that is not healthy for you. I am saying that in the midst of this trauma response, you should not reinforce the trauma response. And I am also saying that if you do that, if you listen to what I'm saying and you don't ask the questions and you start to heal, because that's what will happen. You will not have all of these things to cling to that will make your healing harder. Okay. If you do this and you start to heal, you will get more information through healing than you do from your interrogation. I promise you that. My hand to God, I am telling you that it works a lot better, because when you're both going through this, I know it doesn't feel like he's going through a trauma too, but he is too. When you're in trouble, you are traumatized. Okay. When you're in trouble and you know it's all your fault and this is big trouble, he's traumatized just like you are. So he's not going to be giving you answers that are totally coherent. He's not going to give you answers that satisfy you. He's not even in a self-reflective place at the moment. So he can't give you what you were desiring through those questions. So if you start to heal and you travel along that path a little ways, and then you have a question, you are not in the place where him answering the question might mean that you leave him. And so he'll be more likely to be honest then. Okay. And you won't believe him now anyway. Like, why you keep asking him all those questions? You don't believe him. You think he's a liar. You like, I know you've been lying to me. I don't believe a word you say, but you keep asking him questions thinking that he's going to somehow say something that's going to make you feel like you know he's telling the truth. No, it's not going to happen like that. Not in the midst of this trauma. Your trauma is saying, absolutely not. Do not believe a word that man says. He is a liar. Okay, that is what your brain is saying. So it doesn't matter what the answers are right this minute. You're not in a place to receive them. You are not in the place emotionally to be able to absorb what is being said without taking it personally, without believing that it's a lie. Okay. Everybody understand that? Everybody feel good about those things? If you've got questions, comments, thoughts, complaints about what I'm talking about, feel free to put them in the comments. I will answer everybody's. And don't see any. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the lesson today because, man, my baby is graduating high school. I am not that old. Okay. I'm just amazed that we are at this place. And, that got me thinking about who you are when this trauma happens to you versus who you will be in later years, like in different stages of your life. It is incredible that there is a version of you that survived this. The version that is standing before me right now as a survivor. You survived this. Even if you're not completely past it yet, you're still standing. You're still looking for help. You are still looking for love and connection, reconciliation. You are in the midst of a trauma, still a loving person who is growing and succeeding at life. Okay. So even though this trauma has happened to you, I understand that it is horrifying to have this happen to you. I know from personal experience, my husband was a perpetual cheater. He was a repeat cheater. Okay. It will come to a point where you will look back and you will be amazed at how far you have come. And you should do that now. Just look back at, where you were before and where you are now. You should be pretty doggone amazed with yourself. You are a superwoman, okay? My son is graduating and the transition, it feels really surreal. It feels like this can't possibly be my life. And I remember that's the way it felt dealing with the infidelity too. It was like, this cannot possibly be my life, because that transition is kind of surreal from who you were before to this whole new phase of life. Life changes extremely quickly. I'm at 18 years past it now, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh, this was only a few years ago that he was cheating and I was, learning to get past it. But it's actually almost 2 decades at this point. Because life changes so quickly and it just keeps throwing itself at your head, even though you're trying to heal from this. This all made me think about how many versions of ourselves we become throughout life, especially after betrayal, especially after that. We are a whole new creature after that has happened to us. The woman from D-Day, from Discovery Day, from that moment when that bombshell hit and all of the ground fell out from underneath you, that woman was in panic. That woman was in the devastation phase of this. She was a pile on the floor. It was emotional chaos. It was the inability to even imagine that she would ever have peace again. Feeling like life is like over. Like the life that you were living is completely gone now. And you have to get yourself up off the floor and stand again in almost an entirely new universe. But we don't want to stay too long in the pain. And even though it is overwhelming pain, most women will try to stand up. Most of us try and pivot towards surviving, not towards just laying there and perishing. Sometimes we forget that the version of us that was shattered this way would be absolutely amazed at where we are now. That person, when you first found out, when it first hit you, that person is completely incapable of even comprehending where you are now, how you were able to stand, how you were able to move forward. That person that was shattered could never. Okay. But you grew into the person that could from that person that was shattered. The woman from your hardest season, with most women, this is your hardest season. The woman that you were in that hardest season, she's not weak. She felt weak in the moment, but she's not weak. She's a survivor. Even though she got hit with quite a bit of ammunition, she was down for the count for a little while, but that woman still wanted to stand up. That woman still wanted to make it. And just because, it took her to her knees doesn't mean that she wasn't a strong woman. Okay? So healing starts to change your identity. And, if you've ever been through any other thing where you've had to heal, it does. It changes who you are. If you've gone through therapy for some childhood issues, any type of healing, you recognize that the healing slowly carves you and makes you different than you were before. Healing rarely feels dramatic. It doesn't feel like it hits like a bolt out of the blue like the betrayal did. A lot of the time that means that you overlook your own progress. You feel like you have not really made huge strides because the trauma was so huge, but the healing is incremental. It's in layers. It's slow. Your nervous system has to soften and open up again. And then once it happens, you find the effects of it. You don't really notice it as it's happening, but you notice the effects. You're reacting less intensely than you were. You are recovering faster. When you've been triggered and you have a moment, you're able to pull yourself back a little bit faster and faster every time, and recover from that trigger faster than you were at first. You start laughing again. You start to sleep better. You start to have peaceful moments between the two of you. And that feels scary at first. But the more you do it, the more your nervous system relaxes, the more you understand that this is really real. This is really what's happening. So I can maybe trust it. You're not going to heal all at once. You're going to heal in layers, like an onion. You're going to heal in layers. And one day you realize the pain is no longer introducing itself to you every morning when you open your eyes. Every morning when you first have this happen, the pain is there when you wake up and it's like, hi, good morning. I am pain. I am here to ruin your day. But then you start to miss some of those mornings. And you don't even think about it. You don't even like really, really consider it when you first start to miss it. When that pain is not there when you first open your eyes in the morning, you don't really recognize it until it's been a while and you're like, hey, the pain didn't just jump on me first thing this morning. Isn't that amazing? All right. It happens day by day by day. Okay. So, as I'm going through this, it's like there's two things true at once. Like there is this joy I have of like my baby. This is my last baby, my last one going through high school. My littlest is now the biggest, and he is about to graduate from high school, and he worked really hard. He is going to university, and I couldn't be more proud every second of it. I can barely contain myself. I brag to everybody. I'm like, that's where my baby is going. All right. But then, like, there's been some teary moments. Me and my husband both. There's been a few teary moments where I'm sad about it. Today hasn't been, I haven't had a chance to be sad today. Today is like, okay, it's tomorrow. It's time to go ahead and be happy. But all the way up until this was maybe about the last 3 weeks, it has just been, just moments where it overwhelms me. There is the juxtaposition of this is ending, but he's not even thinking about the ending. He's not thinking about that at all. He's thinking about the beginning, about going to college in the fall. That's where his brain is at. He's like, whatever, I'm graduating, fine, but I'm getting ready to go to college. And so the endings and the beginnings, that makes it a little tense, a little tight. And healing after betrayal is a lot like that. There's that joy and that sadness, the joy of, hey, we're still together, we're still making it. And that sadness of, I can't believe that this ever happened to us, that, okay, the way that I thought it was before, that's ending, but we're beginning a whole new phase. All right. And that is normal. You are supposed to do that in relationships. If you are going to live an entire lifetime with somebody, you are going to go through those phases together. Like this is the end of this phase of us raising kids to, okay, now we have all young adult children. All right. That is a different phase. You're supposed to do that together. You are supposed to have those endings and beginnings and the joy and the sadness and the two things being true at once. That is supposed to happen. So a lot of the time when you're going through the infidelity, when you've been betrayed, you start to grieve that the innocence that you had, the person that believed, oh, he could never do anything like this to me, that naive innocence that you had, that was like, oh no, he's not a person that could do the wrong thing. In the moment it felt good to believe that there was no possible way that it could happen, but it's probably better not to live with innocence that is that foolish. You know what I mean? Like at some point, you've got to understand that people are people and they're going to do bad things sometimes. So, okay, we've had to come to that point. People grieve the certainty. The certainty is the one that I think causes the most damage. Is I was certain that he would never. And now I cannot be certain of that. And I can't even be certain that, it's not happening now. I can't be certain that he will never betray me again. And that certainty, people grieve over that tremendously. And you grieve over who you used to be, your old identity. That person that believed that this could never happen, which was naive. It was a naive thought, but you grieve the person who was able to be naive and think that. When you realize it's like, okay, regardless, people can hurt you. Even the people that love you the most. Matter of fact, the people that have hurt you the most, haven't they been the people closest to you? Hasn't it been a parent? Hasn't it been a brother or sister? Like all the way up until this point, the people that hurt you were the people that were closest to you because they have the opportunity. They are close enough that they can really stick it in, and then you really feel bad. But that old identity needed to be shed. It needed to be shed so that you could grow. And the growth is still happening now for you. Even though this is devastating, you are still growing through it. And all growth is painful. And if you remember your wisdom teeth growing in, if you remember what it felt like to grow, I'm 6 feet tall. I grew to 6 feet tall over like a summer. Right? That happened very, very quickly. That growth hurt. Okay. My bones ached like all the way down to my marrow. It was aching just to do that much growing. So that is part of it. The growth is a beautiful, wonderful transformation, but it's a painful one too. So two things being true at once. Sometimes healing means honoring who you were without staying trapped in who you were. I understand that most women want to go back. Most women are like, it will never be the same. I can never go back to who I was before. That was supposed to happen. You were never supposed to stay there forever. You were supposed to move forward. You can't go back to who you were before because you were supposed to grow. That was supposed to happen. So you are honoring who you were by stepping into who you should be, who you will be after all of this has happened to you. You can miss who you used to be and at the same time still welcome who you are becoming, if that makes sense. Two things being true at the same time. You can miss that person that first fell in love, that person who was a little innocent, a little naive. You can miss that person, but you can still appreciate that you needed to grow into a new person. New level, new devil is what they always say. So you're coming into a new level. You have to have integrated the things that you knew back then into who you are becoming so that you can fight the next battle, so you can do the next thing. Let's see. So as you're going forward, go back up. You got to really think about who you're becoming now. That has to be your focus. It is very easy to try and go backwards and be really, really stuck because you keep trying to go back to who you used to be. You don't need to be who you used to be. You need to be the version of you who is calmer, who is wiser, who's more intentional, who's more emotionally aware, who is more discerning, who's more soft, who's stronger, who's sharper, who's fiercer. That used to be my favorite saying for these groups. It was stronger, sharper, fiercer. Okay. This is going to make you all of the above. Okay. You are going to be stronger. You're going to be sharper. You're going to be fiercer than you've ever been before. You're going to feel like Superwoman when you come through it. You just have to come through it. You have to go ahead and move forward. And it's not better because you got betrayed. That's not the point. It is the fact that this happened to you and you were transformed. You got your superpowers. You know what I mean? It is not the fact that, oh, you were cheated on that makes you better. No, it is the fact that you have had an experience that made you burst out of your shell and grow in ways that you probably wouldn't have grown if you weren't presented with this trauma. Okay? So let's see. What's something, the version of you that you are now, what is it that the version of you that you were back then, when you first heard this betrayal happen, when you first experienced D-Day, like, what is something that version of you would be so proud of today? I would love to hear that. Put that in the comments for me. What would the version of you that was shattered, devastated, be proud of about you as you are today? Put that in the comments and let me know, because you have grown and that was supposed to happen. And it is a beautiful thing that it happened. So that version of you can see the beauty. Even though she was hurt, even though she was devastated and shattered and she was in a pile on the floor, if she can look up and she can actually see where you are now, she's going to be super proud of you. What is it that she's proud of? Because she probably didn't think she could get up off the floor. But somehow or another, there you are standing. So she knows you did it, okay? She knows that you did it from that shattered place, from the place where she didn't even think that she could survive. You are surviving and you are thriving. So what would she be proud of? What was it that you did that got you to that place, that has you standing proud, that makes it so that she believes that you might just be all right? Okay? So the woman who was shattered by all this, she's not gone. She is carried with you. She doesn't have to lead forever, but she's always there. You will never forget about the version of you that you were then, when you first got shattered, when this devastation first hit of this betrayal. You will never forget about who she is. You'll carry her with you, but she doesn't have to lead this anymore. The stronger, sharper, fiercer version of you gets to lead the way now. So, we're talking transitions and growth. One of the huge transitions that you're going to have to deal with as you are healing from this infidelity is the transition from mistrust to trust. And I am doing the trust issues challenge to be able to help you with specifically that. That transition from learning how to accept the fact that, yes, this person did the wrong thing, but learning to trust them again anyway, it is powerful work. Okay, let me tell you, it is one of the huge things that will say whether you are able to heal from this or not, is if you are willing to, when presented with the opportunity, you are able to trust. Even though it's scary, even though you're like, why would I have to do this to myself? Even then, you are going to grow the most from learning that trust again. It's going to help you with your survival. It's going to help you with your healing. It's going to help you with becoming who you are supposed to be. So I want you to join me for the Trust Issues Challenge. If you have not signed up for it, it is starting on June 8th. I am waiting to hear from you, because on the sign up, I ask you, like, what is the thing that you're having the hardest time with as far as the transition back into trusting? I want to hear about it. Put it in the application to sign up for the Trust Issues Challenge, and I will make sure that this challenge is tailored around what you need it to be tailored to. Whatever part of the trust that you're having a very difficult time with, I got you. Okay, I've got you on it. We will talk about it. We will experience what it is to do trust and practice trust even under those circumstances. Okay, so I want you to sign up for the Trust Issues Challenge. If you would like to, go ahead and DM me the word trust, and I will get you that link so that you can sign up for the challenge. We start June 8th. We go through the 13th. We skip over the 10th because I got a date. We are going out to a concert, got tickets, but we are going almost straight through except for that one day. And each and every day, we are going to talk a little bit more and do a little bit more to trust again, to get from that transition from distrust to trust. after infidelity. Okay. So let me see. Anything else? I think that's about it. I want y'all to truly heal. I don't want you to just survive. I remember just surviving. Surviving sucks. All right. I want you to live. I want you to feel free. I want that weight to be lifted off you. I want you to feel like you can move freely and you can breathe freely. And you're not constantly concerned with when am I going to be hurt again? You can get there. It is just practice. It is just consistency. If you can do it, do what I'm letting you know about and do it consistently, you are going to feel better. You are going to get to the place where you are not constantly thinking about this betrayal every single second of the day. You are not constantly waking up to it first thing in the morning. Okay. So just think about the fact that healing doesn't erase who you were. It just allows you to become more of who you are supposed to be now that this trauma has happened to you. You can become better than the worst thing that ever happened to you. And knowing you can do that is very, very powerful. When I healed, that showed me that I was capable of doing things that I never believed that I could do before. So since then, I became an author. I became a coach. I was just, changing my entire life around just from the fact that I understood that I grew out of who I used to be and into somebody even better than I was. All right. All righty, y'all. I think that's about it. So the very last thing that I'm going to tell you before I go, I want you to remember to do your affirmations. Have you been doing your affirmations? If you've not been doing your affirmations, I need you to jump on that immediately, okay? When we are going through a trauma, what happens is our brains say that everything is negative. Okay. It wants you to be afraid. It wants you to back away. It wants you to hide yourself in a little hole and cover yourself with grass and hope that the predators don't see you. Okay. That is what your trauma is trying to get you to do. And it will do that by insulting you. It will do that by telling you you're awful. You are just such a bitch. And that's the reason why he cheated on you. And you will never be with anybody who can appreciate you because you're just not appreciable. All sorts of crazy things will go through your head because it just wants you to hide. It wants you to curl in on yourself and never open yourself up to anybody ever again. And while it is nice that our bodies try to help us that way, we would try to appreciate that. We cannot let our self-esteem just be diminished to nothing simply for the fact that we got hurt. Okay. So I want you to start doing your affirmations at least first thing in the morning. When you wake up, I want you to look yourself in the face, look yourself in the eye. And then I want you to say the affirmation like you mean it. Say it like it's the most true thing you've ever said in your entire life, that you truly, honestly believe it. Say it in that tone of voice. And what will happen is your brain has made a recording now of you saying this wonderful thing about yourself. And every time there is something negative that pops up, you pull that recording to the forefront of your brain. Every time your brain is saying, well, you're just a doormat, you bring that affirmation back around and say, wait, no, that's not what I think about myself. I think this about myself. This affirmation is what I think about myself. And constantly correct your brain when it tries so hard to say that you're the monster here. Okay. If you do this consistently, your brain will believe you. Whatever you're consistently telling your brain is what it believes. It doesn't know the difference between make-believe and real. It does not know that. So if you keep on saying something like it's real, your brain will believe it's real and then lean in that direction. Okay. So, Mariah, you said I'm proud of myself. The school is almost over. Congratulations. I made it almost to the end now, too. I am about to go to my son's graduation tomorrow. Lord, so much. All right. So, the affirmation for today, I'm glad you're doing your affirmations in the comments. Thank you very much, Mariah. I appreciate that. But today's affirmation is, today I am accepting. Today, I will open my heart and listen with an open mind to new ideas and opportunities. Today, I am accepting. Today, I will open my heart and listen with an open mind to new ideas and opportunities. That is exactly what I'm talking about today. And that those transitions, coming from one place to another, growing into what you're supposed to be, you need to be accepting of that. You need to be accepting that, yes, that's part of the healing process. You are not going backwards. You are going forward. You are thinking about yourself in a brand new light that you've never seen yourself in before. And that's a great thing. That is a wonderful thing to have happen. Even though it came wrapped in a trauma, it is still the thing that is going to burst you out of your shell and make you grow in ways that you've never imagined before. Okay? So today I am accepting. And I am accepting of you. I love each and every one of you. I am so, so proud of you. If nobody has told you, I am so proud of you for being this hurt, being this traumatized, and still looking towards compassion and understanding and love and unconditional love at that. I'm so proud of you. I can't stand it. It's just like me with my son. I am so proud of you all. I am so glad to be in the company of women who are choosing that for themselves. You could be bitter and you have every reason and every right to be bitter, but you are choosing happiness anyway. And damn, we need that. We need lots and lots of that in the world. Okay. So I love you and I'm so, so proud of you. Remember, do your deep breathing, do your journaling, do your gratitude practice, stop asking the questions and do your affirmations. And more than anything, don't do what the fear and the pain tell you to do. When you are dealing with this trauma of infidelity, your brain will try and tell you that the fear and the pain are correct about everything and you should listen to what they do. They say to you, but that is the path of pain. That is not the path of healing. The healing path is doing the exact opposite of what the fear and the pain would want you to do. So anytime something comes up and it makes your heart race and you're like, ooh, that's the fear telling me to do that, do the exact opposite. If the fear is like, track him on his phone, take that off your phone. Okay? Do not track him. Do not go looking. If the fear is like, you need to look through his phone and see who he's talking to, put his phone down. Get him to put a new password on it. If you know the password and you are too tempted to open it up, when that fear kicks in and starts yelling at you, then have him change the password and make sure that you don't have it. Okay? You cannot continue to do what the fear and the pain tell you to do and heal from the fear and the pain. Does that make sense? All right. All right, y'all. I love you and I'm so proud of you. And I will see you again next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for the Healing Hour Live. Mwah! Bye.